Hello, I hope you're having a good day. Today we'll talk about a story in which a group of survivors of a zombie apocalypse move toward the heart of the United States after facing zombies, other survivors, and distress. So today we'll be looking at the movie, Zombieland, Double Tap. 10 years ago, the world went through a zombie apocalypse. Now, in the present, the situation hasn't improved, and zombies have evolved into different types. The dumb zombies are called homers. They're slow and do stupid things like getting their tongues stuck to ice, making them easy to kill. The smart zombies are hawkings. They're capable of planning, like using a dead scientist's eye to open a door with an iris scanner. Lastly, there are ninja zombies that know how to sneak around and hide to surprise their victims. In DC, there's a group of 4 survivors made up of Tallahassee, Wichita, her boyfriend Columbus, and her sister, Little Rock. They've been together for a decade and have learned to fight with perfect teamwork. They make their way through the countryside, killing zombie after zombie without hesitation, taking them down before they can even scratch them. After a long but highly effective battle, the group finishes off the horde and heads to the White House, which becomes their new home. The first days go great. They have a lot of fun together and redecorate according to their own tastes. They also celebrate Little Rock's birthday. Tallahassee has become a father figure to her and is very protective, but Little Rock is getting tired of being trapped with adults. She wants to hang out with people her own age and doesn't want to be called a little girl anymore, something Tallahassee doesn't understand. A few weeks later, Tallahassee decides to celebrate Christmas in November and gives Little Rock a gun that once belonged to Elvis. Little Rock hates it because he always gives her weapons. So frustrated, she leaves the room to shoot some zombies. Later in the bedroom, Columbus surprises Wichita with a ring and asks her to marry him. Wichita gets nervous because she believes all married couples end up divorced, so Columbus gives her time to think about it. The next morning, the guys discover that the sisters have left, leaving behind only a vague note. On the road, the sisters are traveling in Tallahassee's modified car and agree that they shouldn't have gotten attached. Suddenly, they see someone ahead, and Little Rock prepares to shoot, but it's just a normal human around her age named Berkeley. A month later, Tallahassee and Columbus try to entertain themselves at the mall, but Columbus won't stop complaining about Wichita. Tallahassee mocks him and says they should hit the road again to start fresh. At that moment, they're found by a zombie, so Tallahassee throws a bottle of liquor and shoots it before killing the creature. Columbus is impressed but doesn't think it's the zombie kill of the year, which goes to a farmer who ran over a zombie with his tractor, turning it into a hay cube. Then Columbus goes to the candle store and fires when he hears a noise, but it's just a girl named Madison. She's so happy to see another person that she hugs Columbus, and he invites her back with them, ignoring Tallahassee's complaints. Later back at the White House, the guys notice Madison is pretty dumb, but Columbus is so desperate for company that he's willing to do dirty things with her anyway. In the middle of the night, Tallahassee hears a noise and looks for the source, firing at the first sign of movement. It's Columbus, who dodges just in time. They go investigate together and are surprised to find Wichita in the garage. She explains that she came back for more weapons and that Little Rock is no longer with her. She fell in love with Berkeley, a musician and pacifist who survived by avoiding conflict. Hearing this, Tallahassee panics and thinks his little girl is lost. Little Rock and Berkeley wanted to go to Graceland, but Wichita said no, so they left without her while she was sleeping. Wichita is very worried about her sister because she's traveling without protection, and Berkeley told them about a new kind of zombie that's tougher and faster. Tallahassee announces that he and Columbus will help find Little Rock, ignoring Wichita's desire to hunt alone. She then apologizes to Columbus for leaving without a proper talk, only to be interrupted by Madison. Wichita gets jealous and starts acting cold toward Columbus. When everyone is ready, Tallahassee learns that Wichita got a minivan to come here and freaks out because it's not manly. However, they have no other choice since work vehicles are rare these days. Madison forces her way into the group, and Wichita's jealousy worsens. The guys leave Madison's things behind because their rule is to travel light. Meanwhile, Little Rock and Berkeley continue traveling together, and Little Rock shoots random objects like a money truck for fun. She then confesses she never tried Mary Jane, and Berkeley pulls out a bag full to share. The car fills with smoke, and Berkeley sings love songs to Little Rock. Back with Columbus's group, Madison reveals she took the ring from the nightstand drawer, which upsets Wichita even more. A passive-aggressive conversation begins between Columbus and Wichita about it, until Tallahassee suddenly stops the car, causing Madison to fall forward and hit her head. It turns out there's a fancy bus nearby, and they agree to switch vehicles. On the way, Columbus and Wichita continue arguing about their situation. Once they reach the bus, Madison opens the door and accidentally triggers the alarm, which draws the attention of a group of zombies. Following their old teamwork tactics, Columbus climbs to the roof of the bus and opens fire while giving instructions to Wichita and Tallahassee. The zombies start to fall one by one without even getting a chance to harm the group thanks to the tactics they've been practicing for over a decade. Unfortunately, Wichita's gun jams, but when a zombie is about to attack her, Madison sprays it with pepper spray, buying Wee time to fix her weapon and kill it. They ignore a Homer running the other way, and when another zombie jumps onto the roof, Columbus dodges it to make it fall, and the others shoot it. Only one zombie remains, and Tallahassee quickly shoots it, but the creature stays on its feet. They realize this is the evolved zombie Berkeley mentioned, and Columbus calls it a T-800 in honor of Terminator. Tallahassee keeps wasting bullets, but they don't stop the T-800, so he has to smash its head to finally kill it. Tallahassee then paints a 3 on the bus door as per tradition, and the group finally leaves. However, as they drive away, the bus runs over some nails and the tires get ruined. Now they have no choice but to continue traveling in the minivan. Moments later, the group shares some nutty snacks while discussing Madison's dumb ideas. Suddenly, Madison starts feeling very sick. Tallahassee immediately stops the car, and Madison runs out to vomit. While the trio argues about what to do, Columbus insists he doesn't want her to die. But Tallahassee and Wichita remind him that turning into a zombie is worse. Resigned, Columbus walks into the forest and finds Madison looking awful, so he makes a decision. Back in the car, Wichita and Tallahassee are shocked when they hear a gunshot. The rest of the trip is tense and uncomfortable. That night, they finally arrive at Graceland, only to discover that the place is destroyed and abandoned. Disappointed, the trio keeps driving while trying to think about their next move. At that moment, they come across the Hound Dog Hotel and spot Tallahassee's old car at the entrance, so they rush in. While Wichita looks for Little Rock, Tallahassee gets excited about all the Elvis memorabilia, even putting on his shoes. Then he sits at the piano, and while playing, he's suddenly hit by a woman named Nevada, who points a gun at him. Fortunately, Wichita and Columbus come to the rescue and ask her about Little Rock. Nevada explains that she and Burke left in search of Babylon, a hippie safe haven with no zombies. That place also has no weapons, which could be a problem because zombies are following Berkeley's car. Tallahassee and Nevada share a drink and flirt a lot. Tallahassee even does his best Elvis impression. They end up getting dirty. The next morning, Berkeley and Little Rock arrive at Babylon, and Rock is forced to hand over her weapons to a guy who melts them down to make a pendant. The place is actually pretty safe, thanks to the surrounding walls and a tall tower in the center. Everyone lives in peace and harmony, with no worries. Back at the hotel, Tallahassee wakes Nevada up to show her how great he looks in Elvis clothes. At that moment, they hear a strange horn and run outside to discover a monster truck parked on top of Tallahassee's car. Furious, he goes to argue with the driver, named Albuquerque, who turns out to be a friend of Nevada. While the men yell at each other, the others notice how similar they are, like parodies of one another. Suddenly, a second guy named Flagstaff comes out of the monster truck to support his friend Albuquerque, since they travel together. Flagstaff looks a lot like Columbus and even has his own set of survival rules, though he calls them commandments. A childish argument breaks out between the four men, each trying to impress the women. Eventually, Nevada breaks down and calms them. Albuquerque and Flagstaff explain they came back because the T-800s have taken over the area. The group goes inside to grab some drinks, but just as another argument is about to begin, they hear a noise and discover the T-800s are outside. Albuquerque and Flagstaff rush out and fight the zombies, taking them down in minutes, then come back to show off, only for Nevada to notice that Albuquerque has been bitten. He tries to pretend it's just a tattoo, but suddenly vomits, revealing that Flagstaff was also bitten. After Flagstaff also vomits, both turn into zombies, and a fight breaks out. Nevada quickly opens fire, but these are T-800s and aren't affected. The others take the fight to the hallway and use Elvis memorabilia to attack the zombies. They manage to corner the duo on top of a pool table, so they use balls and cues to defend themselves. The fight continues with both men and zombies tossing each other around, making it hard for Nevada and Wichita to shoot without hurting their friends. Finally, Tallahassee takes down Albuquerque with an Elvis statue and smashes his head with a guitar. At that moment, Flagstaff attacks Columbus, giving Nevada the chance to shoot him in the head too. Tallahassee wonders if this might be the zombie kill of the year, but Columbus thinks the one in Italy was better. A guy set up mannequins to attract zombies and dropped the Leaning Tower of Pisa on them. Afterward, Tallahassee says goodbye to Nevada with a kiss and gives her an Elvis ring to remember him by. He then tries to drive the monster truck but can't control it at all, so they have to leave in the minivan again. A few hours later, Wichita is trying to fix her relationship with Columbus when they suddenly see an ice cream truck go by. It's being driven by Madison, who is alive and well. It turns out Columbus only pretended to shoot her and let her go, and her illness had just been a nut allergy. She rejoins the group, and for the rest of the night, they have to endure her babbling. The next morning, the group arrives at Babylon and thinks this might be their permanent home. As a final goodbye, Tallahassee blows up the minivan. He doesn't want to give up his guns, but he's desperate to see Little Rock again, so he has no other choice. Once everyone's weapons have been melted down, the group is allowed in, and they rush to hug Little Rock. She apologizes for leaving, but also tells them they won't fit in here, because it's too peaceful for them. Finally, upon seeing his little girl, now a grown woman, Tallahassee decides to hit the road again and start fresh somewhere else. Later that night, Tallahassee drives away in a truck when he suddenly crashes into a zombie. The creature gets up easily, meaning it's a T-800. To his surprise, there's a massive horde of them running toward Babylon. Tallahassee immediately races back and warns everyone about the zombies, forcing them to cut the music and fireworks. Berkeley doesn't take it seriously, and Little Rock breaks up with him. There's not a single weapon there, so Tallahassee comes up with an alternative plan using the biodiesel from the tower. Everyone works together to create a massive bomb, and the hippies quickly learn how to hold up shields. Lastly, they tear down a wall and set up a firework device to attract the zombies. When the creatures begin to arrive, the team starts a fire on the ground before running to a safe spot. The flames soon trigger a huge explosion that kills all the zombies in a big blast. Unfortunately, a second horde approaches, and the team has to fight them off with shovels. They manage to kill some of them, but there are too many to keep up with, and they won't be able to hold on much longer. Tallahassee announces that this is the end, and they all hug while sharing heartfelt "I love yous" to say goodbye. Suddenly they hear a horn, and Nevada appears in the monster truck. She rescues the team and then starts driving like a maniac, crushing zombies under the massive wheels of the vehicle. The truck even begins spinning in circles like a zombie tornado, and then climbs up a wall, flipping and landing on even more zombies. After another wild ride, the truck finally crashes, and the group has to make a run for it to reach the tower. They find the path blocked by zombies, but fortunately, Madison and Berkeley begin throwing things to kill them. They keep fighting the zombies while running up the stairs, using Nevada's gun and any objects they can find around them. Once they reach the rooftop, the hippies raise their makeshift shields to form a corridor that guides the zombies toward the edge. Most of the group backs away, but Tallahassee keeps running as bait, jumping at the last second to grab onto a crane. The zombies continue charging and fall to their deaths, trying to bring Tallahassee down with them but failing. Columbus declares it the zombie kill of the century. 2 final zombies manage to grab Tallahassee's leg, and the others don't know how to help, until Little Rock suddenly shoots them. It turns out she always kept the Christmas gift Tallahassee gave her. With all the zombies finally dead, the group lines up and pulls Tallahassee to safety as he and Little Rock reconcile. Wichita says yes to Columbus's proposal, and he puts the ring on her finger. The couple kisses, and Nevada and Tallahassee follow their example. Madison and Berkeley also start kissing when Homer suddenly appears, only to immediately fall and die easily. After a night of partying and fireworks, the original 4 leave with Nevada in a fancy car to search for a new home, while a zombie chases them in the distance. Then a flashback shows Bill Murray on the day of the outbreak. He had been promoting his 3rd Garfield movie, and the reporters kept asking him to make hairball gagging sounds. Suddenly, one journalist vomited and turned into a zombie. An assistant panicked and ran away, but Bill stayed calm and killed the zombie with a chair. As he walked out, he found a group of zombies in the lobby but still didn't panic. He continued fighting them off with the chair and whatever else he could grab, walking out slowly while saying he hated Mondays. I hope you enjoyed the video.